Mala, do you agree that that the events back at home regarding the SLC had an overall effect on the team's performance? I mean, the body language we see seemed to be not the same when they came out of the field.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's an excuse. Like I said, that's something that which happened outside of things. So I think we're very disappointed the way we performed. I think winning the toss, batting first, was important that we put runs on the board, which we didn't do. We probably had an opportunity to try and control things that first day, afternoon, evening. When we had them bit under pressure, we had some opportunities. We dropped that, and then the second day, obviously, it was a struggle again. And today, the performance was very disappointing from the boys. We need to sit down and discuss how we need to go about things in the rest of the series.
Sri Lanka has never lost a test match like this with so much of problems. I mean, there must be something more than meets the eye. And also, the team is now down to 11 fit players. How is this going to play on the minds of the team ahead of the Sydney test?
The injury is obviously something that we can't control. I mean, we don't plan those things. We just need to sit down with the management, the selectors, and see how we need to go about that with the injury situation. But the cricketing part of it, obviously, we need, like I said, that's something that we need to sit down among the players, have a good discussion and see. We need to show more character. We need to see something more from the players, especially when you're playing against a team like Australia. We just need to come up better. So that's something that we all have to take responsibility and see what we need to do.
What was was it a result of a lack of concentration? What was the reason you had such a bad day? You had such a bad test throughout, in the field and with the bat.
I think the first day obviously was a tough one for us to come back from, but I thought we fought really well in that latter part of that first evening. We still had them for 130 for 3, and we dropped 2 catches, which I thought was crucial at that time. Things would have been different, but Michael went and got 100, Wada got a 50, and then we were behind. And today I thought we needed to buckle down and bat well. Lost 2 wickets in no time in the first over itself. That gave them a lot of momentum, and then we just kept losing wickets. So like I said, you can't pinpoint and say this is where we went wrong. There were loose shots, there were loss of concentration. At the same time, the Australians played some really good cricket as well, so you can't take that away from them. So that's what I said, if we need to step up to the plate, we need to show more character and really dig deep to see how we can perform here.
Mahela සමස්තයක් විදියට නායකයා විදියට අද තරගයේ පරාජය ගැන ඔබට මොකද කියන්න තියෙන්නේ?
මම හිතනවා ගොඩක් සතුටු වෙන්න බැරි තත්ත්වයක් අපි අද සෙල්ලම් කරපු විදිය. මම හිතන්නේ කණ්ඩායමක් විදියට අපි සියලු දෙනා මේ වගකීම බාර ගන්න ඕනේ. මේ තරගයේ පුරාම මම හිතන්නේ පළවෙනි දවසේ ඉඳන්ම අපි ඒ තරම් හොඳට සෙල්ලම් කරේ නැහැ. අපි ඒ කතා කරගත්තත් ඒ කතා කරපු සැලැස්මවල අපිට ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න බැරි වුණා. විශේෂයෙන් පිටිකරුවන් ගොඩක් වගකීම් බාර ගන්න ඕනේ අපි සෙල්ලම් කරපු විදිහ. ඉතින් මම හිතන්නේ කුමා තමයි මේ තරගයේ ගොඩක් හොඳට සෙල්ලම් කරේ. අවසනාවට ඔහුත් ආබාධයකට ලක් වුණා. ඉතින් මම හිතනවා අපි කණ්ඩායමක් විදියට මීට වඩා වගකීමකින් සෙල්ලම් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා.
Is there a sense of disbelief in the dressing rooms as to what's happened? Not only the magnitude of the defeat and happening so fast, but also losing Kumar, your wicketkeeper, and Willie Sadara?
Yeah, I think coming back from Hobart, the guys were feeling very confident how we approached that game and how we went about it, and there were areas which we needed to improve. That's something that we've spoken about. Obviously, in Melbourne, things happened pretty fast for us, and we just did not handle any of those situations that well. Like we needed to, like I said, see how we can dig deep and take more responsibility in certain situations better and fight. So that's something that which we didn't do. And obviously, like you said, things happen really fast, but the injuries are something that you can't control. That happens. Unfortunate how Prasanna got injured, Kumar and Wele. So these things that we can't control. But I don't think those are excuses. But I think we played a really bad game of cricket.
Mahela, the gap between the first and the second test, 8 days, was it perhaps too much? And the Boxing Day test match, was any of the perhaps some of the players, were they overawed by the occasion?
The gap was pretty decent for us in the sense that gave us some of our bowlers some recovery time. I think the both teams needed that. The preparation was pretty good. A few of the boys got some time off, and then and a lot of practices and focus preparing for it. So I don't think that was the reason. I think the Boxing Day Test match is always a big occasion, but I don't think that alone is an excuse or anything like that. But it's just that we went out and didn't play good cricket, and we need to put our hand up and accept that.
එකතකින් මේ පිටිකරුවෙක් මේ චන්දිමාල් ක්‍රීඩාගාරයේ සිටිනවා. ඒ වගේම දැන් සාමාන්‍ය මේ ක්‍රිකට් බලන කාන්තාවන් ගැන කතා කරන දෙයක් තමයි මේ ගහන්නේ ටෙස්ට් ක්‍රිකට්ද නැත්නම් වන් ඩේ ක්‍රිකට්ද 20 ක්‍රිකට්ද කියලා. ඉතින් මේ දැන් මේ අපි හැමදාමත් අහන පිළිතුර තමයි ඔබෙන් අද ලැබුණේ. මොකක්ද ඉස්සරහට කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ?
මම දන්නේ අපි පළවෙනියෙන්ම පරාජය වෙච්ච තරඟ දෙක බැලුවොත් අපි හොඳ තරඟ දීලා පෙරදුනේ. ඉතින් ඒ දෙක අනිත් කණ්ඩායම අපිට වඩා හොඳට සෙල්ලම් කරපින්ද මම හිතන්නේ අද තරඟය ගත්තොත් මම හිතන්නේ මං කිව්වා වගේ අපි වගකීම බාර ගන්න ඕන. අපි තරම් හොඳට ටෙස්ට් තරගයක් සෙල්ලම් කරේ නැහැ කියන එක ගැන. ඉතින් සෙල්ලම් කරන්නේ ක්‍රීඩකයෝ. ඉතින් ඔවුන් අතින් වැරදි වෙනවා. මම ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වා වගේ අපි කණ්ඩායමක් විදියට බලන්න ඕනේ ඉදිරියට අපි කොහොමද යන්නේ, අපි කොහොමද මීට වඩා හොඳට සෙල්ලම් කරන්න කියන එක. ඉතින් ඒ වගකීම අපි බාර ගන්න ඕනේ.
The injured players who will be available for the Sydney Test, and if Sangakkara and Jayawardene aren't available, is Chandimal your keeper?
Kumar's definitely going to be out of the whole tournament. We just got news that he's got a fracture, so he might undergo operation this evening or maybe tomorrow morning. So he's definitely going to be out for the rest of the series. Prasanna, we want to give him few more days to see how well he can go through the pain. It's a small fracture on his thumb, so given the situation we did not want him to bat today, but we'll assess him in the next few days leading up to Sydney. But if he's not fit, obviously Dinesh is our reserve wicketkeeper. He'll come into the team as a wicketkeeper batsman. Chanaka is out as well with a torn hamstring, so he won't take part in the test tour. Kulasekara was bowling, but he still had the pain, so we took more scans, and he's got a slight crack in his rib as well. So we need to assess his situation in the next week or so, how well he can go about, because he's a part of our one-day squad as well. So we need to assess him to see whether he can continue and stay for the 1 days or whether he's not going to be available. So that's the situation of the 4 guys right now. So we need to sit with the selectors and the management and make calls on the replacements.
And just on Kramer, sorry, is it left index finger, and is that out for the 1 day as everything?
Yes, he'll be out for at least 6 to 8 weeks depending on the seriousness of the fracture. It'll all depend on how well the operation goes.
So will he go home?
First he'll get the operation done here and then make a call.
If Chandimal is to play, would he play in expense of Samaraweera if Prasanna is ruled out?
Sorry, I didn't. Sorry.
If Prasanna Jayawardene is fit to play, would Chandimal replace Samaraweera?
Well, those are things that we need to sit down and discuss. I think we just need to see exactly where we stand with Prasanna first, and then only we will make those calls, because Kumar's out as well of the series. So there are a lot of things that we need to sit down and discuss. So I didn't have any time to go through with that.
Well, you were happy to bat first on the pitch. Were you surprised by the pace or the bounce of it, particularly, and the pace?
No, I think it was a bat first wicket, runs on the board. There was bounce even on the third day as well on this wicket. So if at all there was bit slow on the first day, and the pace picked up in the second and third day. So we all felt that it was a good wicket to bat first, put runs on the board. That was probably the only way we could actually put some pressure on the Australians and give ourselves a chance of winning a test match. So that's the game plan we had to start off with. Didn't work for us.
Mahela, especially given how few times you get to play on the massive stage, is this one of the most disappointing tests you've ever been involved with?
I think big occasions. I think you can say, I mean, it is overall a very disappointing test for us. We've lost test matches before as well, but given the fact that we had played really well in Hobart, and coming here we had a lot of confidence going into this test match. Had a good plan to execute, but very unfortunate. So that's something that we as a team need to sit down and have a good chat among ourselves and see where we need to go from here.
Mahela, on a personal perspective, no half century for you since November 2006 in away test matches. Have you assessed why it keeps happening?
I haven't played that much test matches as well away. I guess so. Working hard on it. But it's something that I need to personally sit down and see where I need to go right. I think I've worked hard. I haven't spent enough time in this series at all out there to see how badly I'm batting. I think at practices I'm hitting the ball pretty well, but 3-4 overs is not enough for me to assess where I need to be in this series. So like I said, it's not just individuals. As a team, we all need to take responsibility for this.
Mahela, can you give us your assessment of Mitchell Johnson's bowling and what you might need to do to counter it in Sydney?
Well, Mitch bowled pretty well. I think, we haven't seen him for quite some time in international cricket. He's come back strongly. Looks in pretty good rhythm as well. But, like I said, it's not just Mitch. I think we need to focus on the entire bowling lineup because they've put us under pressure in the last 2 test matches as a unit. So we need to counter that and see how well we can go with that.
Mahela, you say that friction between you and Sri Lanka cricket had nothing to do with this result at this Melbourne test.
No.
Would you say that you got the kind of encouragement that you wanted?
I don't think it's that big an issue. Obviously, that's something that was disappointing that had happened in between the 2 test matches. But like I said, I'm very much focused on this tour. I've told the board that as well, and I'm willing to move on. And whatever we need to do, we'll sit down after the series and we'll have a discussion with Sri Lanka cricket. But right now, my 100% focus is on this tour and how we need to rectify where we are right now.
මහේල සංගක්කාරගේ සහ අනෙකුත් ආබාධ සහිත ක්‍රීඩකින්ගේ තත්ත්වය කෙටියෙන් සිංහලෙන් සඳහන් කළොත්
මම දැන් නිකුමා අද ශල්‍ය කර්මයකට භාජනය කරන්න වෙයි. එහෙම වුණොත් එයාට මේ සංචාරය සෙල්ලම් කරන්න බැරි වෙනවා. චානක වෙලගෙදරත් එසේමයි. ප්‍රසන්න ජයවර්ධනගේ තත්ත්වය අපි ඊළඟ දින 3-4 තුල බලන්න ඕනේ. එයා කොහොමද එයාට ඊළඟ තරඟ සෙල්ලම් කරන්න පුළුවන්ද බැරිද කියන එක ගැන. නුවන් කුලසේකරත් එහෙමමයි. ඔහුගේ තත්ත්වයත් අපි ඊළඟ දවස් 3-4 තුල බලනවා. ඒ බලලා තමයි අපිට තීරණයක් ගන්න වෙන්නේ.
The way Jackson Bird got you out today seemed sort of symptomatic of a guy who bowls a really good line that makes you unsure of whether to play or not. How did you assess him playing his first test?
Yeah, I thought impressive. I think that was probably one of the reasons that they picked him to play as well. He was very accurate. Obviously, we haven't played him before. We've seen him on tapes, but he looks a very accurate bowler. I mean, when you go into bat, the guys will, assess, and those are areas that you will struggle initially once you go into bat. So he seems to ask the right question from most of the batsmen, and like I said, we just need to find a solution for the entire unit, not just individual bowlers.
Last 2 questions, Mal, please.
So, Mahela, how much do you fear for the future of Sri Lankan cricket, given all of Sri Lanka's good players are in their mid-30s, and Angelo Matthews, the next captain, has done almost nothing at Test level?
Well, it's going to be a transition period that we need to try and smoothen out. Obviously, that's one of the reasons that you feel that get Angelo at the top, and obviously it's going to be tough. But while the senior players are around, it might be easier for him to take over. And we need to do a lot of hard work in developing the next generation. Obviously, we've got some talented players. We've pretty much got a fairly new one-day side in the last year or so, year and a half. And same thing will happen to the test team as well. But the transition period has to be smooth. Make sure that everyone's ready for it. And we might have some wobbles down the line, but have faith in the system and have faith in the team.
Chloe, last one.
For the moment, you depend very much on your experienced players, but Dilshan went very hard very early in the first innings. Would you expect him to show a little bit more responsibility, I suppose, at the top of the order?
Dilly's in pretty good nick. He's a naturally gifted stroke player. I think, that's what he showed in Hobart as well. He could dominate a bowling unit and get runs. So I'm sure he found Mitch a bit difficult in this test match, but he's an experienced player. He'll go back and revisit what happened and come back strongly. But we don't want him to not play his game. I think that's where he's most lethal for us.